Why, hello there, Speed Gaming Chat. How you guys doing? Welcome to Friday's daily race for Link to the Best Randomizer, a fast Friday. Open with boots, fast gain and seed. It's awesome. I'm Koi on comms, and with me is Nitro 6003. How you doing, Nitro?
I'm great this afternoon. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really excited for this race. Lots of big names here. Illis is a beast, but Mikane and A0 aren't gonna let him go. I'm not too familiar with Matt Cap, but I'm sure he will do just fine.
I have come to few of his races, so I'm a little bit more familiar with him, but I've definitely seen the other three, especially with you before.
So this is an open with boots seed. That means we're going to start with the boots. You can see on their inventories right now, they all have the boots ready to go, which means don't forget to bonk rocks, like most people do. Also, it is fast Ganon, so we will not have to kill Agatu in order to get access to Ganon. But that does not rule out GT entirely, just almost entirely. It is possible that we'll need to do that for swords.
Yeah, let's not just go into GT at all. That would be awesome.
The weird thing is, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, the only reason you have to go to GT is if there's 3 swords in there. But that's not entirely true. It is possible, like, some of the swords are just out of the way enough that you get to the point where GT is your best option, right? So you might go into GT even though there aren't 3 swords in there. But more likely we just find 2 swords and GT is completely written off forever.
Exactly. That would be just the awesomest thing. And there's no point in having fast Ganon if you have to go in and get a sword at a GT. It kind of defeats the purpose of being a fast Ganon seed.
Chat says I'm quiet. Am I quiet to you?
I hear you fine, but I just lowered my volume, so...
I blame Fear Agent. I'm sure we'll get started any second now. Oh, it's not that I'm quiet. Nitro's just loud. He doesn't seem loud to me, but, you guys know best. Some divergence right off the bat. Sanctuary start 5 times better than the Link's House start. Getting way more rupees. Matt Cap, though, with the play, heading straight to Sahasra's hut. With the boots, he will not need to have a bomb for this. Definitely a great way to make a difference in a route.
Oh, for sure.
Meanwhile, Illis and A0 doing the more standard start at Sank and check bonk rocks, where they do find a lamp. Definitely nice to have.
Alright, so no dark rooms in this seed.
Yeah, for sure. And Mikan going after the Uncle start here, where he finds way more rupees than everybody else. Mikan wins. Uncle start, best start.
And we have a glove in Sahasra's closet, so that is awesome.
Yeah, that's great for Madcap. He's actually going to be able to check back of escape real quick. He doesn't need a bomb for that one either.
Yep. He can even go right up Death Mountain if he so desires.
Lumberjack just 20 rupees today, and Madcap not going after back of escape immediately, heading over to bonk rocks. Maybe he'll do it right after. No bombs as of yet. Mikan is the only one with enough rupees to just buy some. Everyone else is still scrounging.
And yeah, that's always a hard thing to do. I'm usually I like to see people do Houlihan early, especially in open mode when you have access to it right away. It's always nice to see, and then you don't have to worry about farming those rupees.
There are seeds where getting that early Houlihan can definitely make a difference, but on average, doing the early Houlihan in a regular open seed like this is going to usually be a time loss. That's why you don't see it too often. Illis showing off some game knowledge, though. He gets a bomb from that bonk rock there. 100% chance of getting a bomb. And Madcap's going up to the mountain to check out Old Man. Looks like Ace gave up on looking for a bomb and instead picking up bushes. There are 2 bushes here. Each one has a 50% chance of giving him a bomb. So far, he's 0 for 2. 0 for 4. Rip.
Oh boy. Like I say, Machead is a saving old man. He'll get the save and quit. At the very least.
Illis finds the other glove in Blind's hideout here. Did not find a bomb, though, but he got enough rupees to buy some. Old man, just a piece of heart. Matcap is continuing on. He'll go up to Spectacle Rock Cave. I don't know what Mikan's doing. Oh, he's checking Ped. Where was the book? I don't remember a book. I don't think I've ever seen that before. What does that mean? I guess it's just bombs? Probably 10 bombs?
Chat saying 10 bombs?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that hint before. It wasn't Bombas. The Bombas one says something entirely differently.
And
But
we
that's
got
all-
hook shot.
Awesome. Great find for Matcap, because going up here to Spectacle Rock Cave is not ideal. But coming up here for the hook shot is much, much better. I'd like to see him just save and quit here, because that would be way faster than what he's doing. These mini Moldorms are terrifying.
They just take after their big brother.
Where are you going, Matcap? Just gonna jump down on the right side. Okay. Oh, immediately gets bopped and has to save and quit anyway. So far it looks like we have access to mitts, although nobody's found both gloves yet. Mikan should find them pretty quick. Or not Mikan, but Matcap as soon as he gets to Kakariko. But how long is it going to be before anybody else goes over to... Matcap, what are you doing? Before anyone goes over to the hospital. Why did he save and quit? I'm very confused.
We're both very confused on that one. I'm not sure.
Oh, he realized he needed a bomb to do the bottom of Paradox Cave.
Oh, and we got a mirror in the library.
Yeah, mirror's definitely a great find. It's actually a little bit of a punish for Matcap since he already walked up to get the hook shot. But just finding the hammer anywhere will reduce that. I would have liked to see Matcap just continue on and check the top of Paradox, because it's not unlikely that he was going to find a bomb in there. But I guess without a bomb, he also couldn't hit the switch. Yeah. Yeah, now that I say it out loud, yeah, he was right to leave. Because you'd be having to really, really hope one of those Moldorms just drops a bomb for you.
And if it doesn't, it's a big time loss, unfortunately. There's our first sword.
Yeah, nice sword in the back of Escape. Illa's saving and quitting, not going after Dark Cross, which might just be the map at this point.
Ooh, Machead getting trolled by the mini troll dorms there.
So Ace taking his gloves and mirror up to Tower of Hera here. Not a huge fan of this play before South Shore, because he does not have a weapon to actually fight Moldorm. But it will get him his hook shot. He just doesn't know that yet.
Unless he gets really lucky with item placement and there's a hammer or something inside of Tower of Hera or in Paradox Cave somewhere.
Yeah, he might just find a weapon over here. But like from his point of view, it's only Spectacle Rock Cave and Hera without a weapon.
Oh yes, right.
Like if he knew the hookshot was up here, this makes a lot more sense.
That is so true.
But from like Illus's point of view, Hera is like a fantastic place to go right now, you know? Like a dungeon I can full clear. It's great.
Have we gotten a map check?
I think somebody did it. It just hasn't been tracked yet. I have no idea what it is. Chat said Crystal, Desert, and Hera, Pendant, Eastern. Ace going for the hover. But falls. He's saving quit now? No, he's gonna go back up.
So it looks like Illus is going to Agina's cave. One of those other locations that's all awesome forgotten about.
Yeah, there's quite a few locations like that in the game that are just, they're so hard to route in that you can gain a huge advantage by just doing them early and biting the bullet on it, as it were. Because everybody else is going to put it off for a long time. Illus not getting rewarded this time, just 3 bombs, but with the boots, it was a pretty quick check. Mikan with his book, boots, and lamp, though, heading into Desert Palace, but he, like A0, has no way to kill the boss of this dungeon. Technically, he could do it with, like, just bombs, but it's not in logic, and he also has no bombs.
Yeah, so he would have to at least find some bombs somewhere in order to do that.
It's pretty tough to do that with 10 bombs, though, even if you can do it. Ace setting up Herapot here. I don't really see the logic in this. Like, it's the skip tower room, which has the big key. I mean, that makes sense. But, like, he can't kill the boss, so he's doing this for one chest, right?
Yeah.
And that chest is an item, but not the one he was looking for. I'm surprised Illus is doing front of escape here instead of just going to Hera. Because, like, he can full clear.
Making a point that actually that is both items out of Hera. Because there was bombs in the basement and heart piece. Isn't that, or is it 3? Is it 3 or 2 items in Hera?
2 items in Hera, so he found both items, and you know he's not like super punished for what he did or anything. It's just it would seem like such a risky play since you're so committed to Hera already.
Right, true that.
To lock yourself out of 50% of the checks that you could even do. It paid off though, getting that second item. Flippers in Paradox Cave. Ace, our first person over here. Flippers are a nice find, especially since rupees have been so plentiful this seed.
Well, there's our Moon Pearl in Paradox Cave.
Yeah, which will be our Dark World access with the mitts, which I believe Matcap and Mikan both have.
And there's our second sword, so now GT officially dead.
Alright, so it's a little uncomfortable for Illus because he has like Aga access and he's in the escape. Like, he probably won't do Aga because he has the glove and no Moon Pearl, but it's an option.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrible.
I can't imagine him actually doing it. Like, it would be pretty crazy if he did it.
Yeah, it would be.
Nice rod in Dark Cross, too. Wow, the escape was really loaded today with 2 swords and an ice rod. Mikan making a very unfortunate dive into Eastern Palace here. It's not like the worst play ever. I mean, it's a pendant and you're probably never coming back anyway. And there might be something here. But I would have thought he'd do Back of Escape a lot sooner than he has, which would get him a sword and allow him to kill both Lambo and Moldorm.
Right, exactly.
So the empty chest is actually a nothing item. It's when we have the boots starts, the total item pool is reduced by, or the boots are removed from the item pool and replaced with a nothing item, and then that is placed in that chest. So it's not where the boots would have been or anything. It's just the item that replaced the boots.
Yeah, I learned that a few weeks ago with, I believe it was you when we were commentating about that. It's really something I was like, wait, why is there nothing in there?
I wish Sinak had just made it 5 rupees in the pool so we wouldn't have to talk about it every single time we play a boot start seat, but there it is. Ill is finding his hook shot in Paradox Gate, or in a Spectral Rock Cave, rather. And Natcap headed up to Tower of Hera, and he will be able to kill Moldorm, although we already know that there's nothing up here.
But it is that magical crystal that he will need to kill Ganon, though. So
yeah, it definitely works out. Like, Ace is probably going to come back and do Hera right before GT. And, you know, he loses a little bit of time because he has to do the Hera pod twice, but for the most part, he didn't lose much. Pecan has mitts, right?
I believe he does.
I know he went to Sahasrar's hut, and I know he went to Kakariko. He should have mitts. But then he picks up the gray rock instead of the black rock, so I have no idea. He skipped him in Kakariko? Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay, so that's really bad for Mikan.
Hopefully he goes back for that.
We haven't seen the hammer at all yet, and he has AGA access. So it may come down to whether he is worried enough about that one chest he skipped in Kakariko to, or just do AGA and say it's probably an AGA seed. It can be really tempting to just go after AGA because, like, you save so much time versus going back to a chest that's probably just 20 rupees.
Exactly.
Madcap learns you do need magic to use the lamp. Luckily, there's a pot right there.
Now it'll be check all the flipper location on A0's side, and check out the big scam artist himself, King Zora.
It's so surprising that Mikan is the one that left the item behind, though, because he was the only one to get to Kakariko with enough rupees to just buy bombs. Illis, please. Illis, please! So Illis does the Herapod there because he didn't want to do the basement for a big key. And then forgets that he doesn't have the big key and tries to open the chest. And then, unfortunately, is flustered enough that the spark knocks him down a floor. But he gets a second item from the other chest, so everything's fine.
Everything's good in the world. In the random world, anyway. Alright, let's see what King Ripoff has today. And a heart piece.
Oh, is there something on the ledge if he's going back for it?
I didn't see what it was, but obviously... Oh, it is our first bottle.
Not a bad find. Definitely something you'd probably skip if you had a bottle already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Madcap taking an unfortunate fall to Troll Dorm, as we call him. He earned that name. Okay, and finally Ace goes back of escape. Oh my god.
There is a bottle on the Zora ledge that we know of.
Okay, so Illus's route is working out really well here. He gets to single dip Hera and immediately head over to Iseth Mountain, where he will find his Moon Pearl. He still has to make the trip over to Sahasrahla to find the Mitts, and he's probably going to go to Desert next, but he'll get there eventually.
And with Midcat's routing and he had access to the Mitts, he could have cleared out pretty much all of Death Mountain because he would have had Titan's Mitts and Mirror One coming up there. I think Matt Cat's going to be able to do that because it looks like he has the Titan's Mitts, but Midcat would have done that if he had gone to Kakariko and gotten gloves there.
Yeah. So Madcap, when he finds his Moon Pearl, that will be his Dark World access, and he'll be on the mountain when he finds it, so he can continue on and check Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave and then TR Medallion and all that jazz. But I mean, like, that can be a punish just as much as it can be a help as well. Like, for instance, if there was something in Spike Cave, right? Like, when are you ever coming back to Spike Cave if you already did everything else in the mountain?
Yeah, that would be never probably until you had nothing else to check.
He can't just taking this plot on a ride. All right, Ace finds his Mitts, that is Dark World access. But where does he go with that Dark World access? The mountain does look like the best place. There's a lot of checks between Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny. But it is not the only option.
Well, let's see where he goes. Maybe straight to Village of Outcast, looks like.
Going straight to West Dark World here. So similar to how you'd be forced to leave behind like Spike Cave if you went to the mountain, Ace is going to be forced to leave behind several other Hammerlock things, starting over here as well. So there's no like right option, like unless you know where the progression is. Every play seems pretty reasonable. But we find out pendants at Thieves, green at Meyer, and the reds at Skull and TR. Early Ice Rod and TR's a crystal? What?
That's bizarre. Usually it's Turtle Rock's green pendant, but not this one.
Illis going into Desert, he will be able to full clear this, and we'll be able to see all the items. Ace opting for Front of Skull Woods, where he finds his first item really quickly. Not a small key, though, so he can drop down and, maybe be fine. Go to the middle, get a key, and then go there. Or just straight up leave. That works, too. Ace, you're crazy!
Checking Bumper Cave, it looks like. Bumper Ledge, I should say. Just $20 there. Ace is heading towards King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge. We'll do Graveyard Ledge first.
Yeah, meanwhile, Madcap going over here to Dark Death Mountain, checking Super Bunny first, and then Hookshot Cave right after.
I really like this play by Machead. Checking all he can. He'll leave one, unless he finds a hammer, will leave Spike Cave, but that's unfortunate. But there's our bow.
Yeah, both players getting rewarded here. Ace finding Canis Samaria and Graveyard Ledge, and then Madcap with the bow. And poor Illis just finds a fetch quest. And Illis actually leaving. So this is a really interesting call from Illis. So he does this because with his current equipment set, Lambo's not the fastest. Like it's not great. I mean, he has the ice rod. I don't know why he did this. But it's likely that he's going to have the flute before the end of the seed, at which point he'll be able to get to Lamo a little bit faster and save some time.
Well, with Misery Mire being green pendant,
Yeah,
the
we're not
flute could be in GT.
Yeah, we're not guaranteed to find that flute, but
Yeah.
it is still likely. I think it's a pretty dangerous call from Illis to do this.
And we need bombos for Turtle Rock.
Oh, speaking of, that was on Hopo, apparently. I guess Ace already found it. So it looks like Illis is going to be the last of our runners to get Dark World access, but he had the most efficient route through the Light World. So all the stuff that he did, everybody else is going to have to do eventually anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like from an outside perspective, it looks like Illis might be behind because he gets Dark World access so late, but he's actually totally fine.
Did Midcon go back to Kakariko and get his glove?
Oh, that's right, except for Mikan. Mikan, who will not have Darkhold access.
Yeah, he at some point he's gonna have to decide between that and Aga.
Yeah, Mikan is decidedly behind because of that unfortunate skip. And he just found the flippers, so he's probably not going back to Kakariko anytime soon.
No, probably not. Actually, one of the things that could help him if he were to find the flute that could get him back to Kakariko.
Yeah, Mikan probably goes flipper checks or desert after this, and then the other one after that. And then eventually he'll have to make that call on whether to say this is an Agaseed or go back to that one chest he skipped. Matt Cap being a little more thorough than Ace was before, making sure to get a small key before going to the front so he can potentially find both items. The other item might just be Firelock, though, and Ace's decision could definitely have been the right call. Mikan going desert. And Ace continuing his trek through the Dark World. Opted not to full clear Thieves. Not an unusual play, it being a pendant and no hammer and everything.
So yeah, now we're gonna have to see what Mikan does after. Right now he's heading into desert, which is a good play. He can full clear it.
Yeah, he definitely does desert, and he definitely does the flipper checks. All right, and that shovel was 20 rupees. Okay, well, desert's not the answer. Oh, Macap with the big find!
Fire rod.
Fire rod in the front of Skullwoods. Okay, Ace is in trouble.
Yeah, that's a big miss. That's a big miss.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, mistake wouldn't be the right word for sure. Like it was a pretty reasonable call for Ace to leave after getting the first item. It takes a long time to check all those other chests, and the other item might just be on Mothula. But worst case scenario is that other item is in the front, and it is the fire rod. Matcap immediately going after Mothula here. It's gonna, oh, man, I don't know when he's gonna go back there.
Oh, it looks like Illis is making the Aga play.
What? Why? Instead of Sahasrara? That's
I guess.
All right, sure.
All right.
So
So
a bit unfortunate.
So since we don't get to play the big guessing game, we might as well play the Aga blue ball guessing game since he's heading that way.
So in my experience, the less required Aga was, the more blue balls it has, just to punish you further. So I'm gonna go with six blue balls.
I'm gonna go with 7.
I mean, 6 is already really unlikely. You're going for 7?
Yeah. Well, you took my number. I usually take 6, so I'll take
All
the
right,
one after
you
that.
take 6.
then.
I'll take 5.
No. You can have it. It's okay, Koi.
Okay.
There's no need to argue over numbers. It's okay. You can have it.
It is really surprising to see Illis go after Aga here when he already has the glove. Like if you had the hammer instead of the glove, I could see it a little more. Because going down to Hype Cave seems just so much better than going across the river. But it's likely that he's not going to go to Pod after this, right? Like he's likely just going to go north and cross the river with the hook shot. So
Yeah,
who knows when he's going to get those mitts.
Yeah, so 2 of our runners missing the mitts. 8-0 heading into Hype Cave. Or what was Hype Cave with, see what it has today, just $50 so far. There's our hammer though.
Hammer in Hive Cave is kind of gross.
Well, it's definitely your hype today.
Pretty disgusting hammer location. Man, this seed is just throwing all of our runners through a loop today. But don't worry too much about Illis. Doing Aga when it wasn't required isn't necessarily like the worst thing that ever happened. He can still pull out a very good time and even win.
We already have 2 blue balls so far.
Metcalf really focused on killing this Gibdo for the key. He doesn't really need the key. If he had well, I guess he needed the key because he didn't have one. He didn't do the whole front.
There's 3.
As exciting as Aga Blue Balls are, I'm a little more focused on Matcap here with his modular fight. He's now out of magic, and the only thing he has left that'll hurt this boss is a fighter sword.
Ooh.
Just gotta stay safe, you know, focus on dodging stuff, and take the hits when you can get them. Nicely done.
Nice.
Way to go. Yeah.
That was a nice play.
Okay, so now I'm really interested to see what Illis does here. So ideally, he just goes over to the hospital side, which he can. He can just mirror over there. But more likely, he's just going to go north and cross that river.
Yeah, without the bow, Pod
Yeah,
doesn't seem as good of an option because it could be just bow locked.
Looks like we are going to get a catfish check, though. Always love that spot. Meanwhile, while all
Check
this,
and a left side swamp check.
yeah, all this exciting stuff's going on, and Ace is over here in Swamp Palace. Doesn't look like he's found anything fantastic quite yet. Are we in no mode? Oh yeah, we are. Look at that.
Oh, we are. Aren't
What do
we?
you know? 32 minutes in, our forerunners have shown us all the things that need to happen to finish the game.
And Midcon also heading towards Aga. So
Yeah, this is not a surprising call from Mikan like it
No.
was from Illis.
it's
Though.
like that one chest in Kakariko versus Aga at this point. Yeah, you're probably thinking I think as you said, $20. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but once you skip a check like that, so it's unique compared to like most checks, so because it's a place where nobody else is going to skip it, right? So if he skips it and then ends up going back to it later, he loses by default. It doesn't matter what was in there. If he has to go back to it, he loses time versus having skipped it. So it makes sense from his point of view to gamble on it continuing to be nothing. And it's just unfortunate that it's going to burn him today.
I'm more surprised if Illis not checking Sahashala before going to Aga.
Yeah, it's not ideal to have to go over to Eastern at all without the bow. And if you go to Sahasrahla and Sahasrahla doesn't have your Dark World access, then you're probably going into Eastern too. And I imagine Illis just really didn't want to do that. And having the glove and hookshot in hand, he knew he could continue on and get lots of other stuff here in the Dark World. Yeah, Mikan was actually the only one who entered Kakariko with enough rupees to buy bombs. He just chose not to. All right, Illis going to the center of Skullwoods first to get that small key. So this is actually really good news because it means he's probably going to full clear the front and he will find that Fire Rod, which unfortunately Ace left behind.
Yeah, he's not only left Fire Rod behind, but he doesn't have Ice Rod from Escape either. So that's where he's at.
Yeah, it might be a while before he does Escape as well. But I think he'll definitely go to the Escape before he goes back to Skullwoods. Going for the menu strats on Argus. It is a little faster to do 5 sword spins, but it is also trickier. Matt Cap checking Graveyard Ledge will find his Cane of Samaria. Definitely a nice pickup. All right, so let's run it down. What needs to happen for everybody? So Illis needs the hammer from Hype Cave, and the bow from Super Bunny Cave, and the mitts from Sahasrahla. So that's a little unfortunate for Illis because the bow is the item that would get him to go back to the eastern area to check Sahasrahla.
He could find the other bow, though.
Yeah, there is 2 bows. It is possible. Although I think we might have seen everything that he has access to already. Backup Thieves. We haven't seen that. Meanwhile, Matcap still needs the Bombos Medallion and the hammer.
And sword.
And a sword. So sword from Front of Escape, Bombos from Hobo, and the hammer from Hype Cave. And instead, it looks like he's probably heading into Pod soon. A little unfortunate. Ace is doing mostly just fine, except for the Fire Rod. And because he's going to have access, he has like mitts and hammer, he has access to a lot of the game that doesn't require the Fire Rod.
Yeah. And depending on key layout, he could get all the way to Laser Bridge in Turtle Rock. I don't know if he would do that, but he could do it. It is possible.
Yeah, it mostly just depends on like how the items line up. Like if it even goes into Turtle Rock. Like Turtle Rock might just be ether for all we know. Or no, we know Turtle Rocks, don't we? Oh, it was Bombos, you're right. Illa's having a little easier time with Mothula with the Master Sword instead of Fighter Sword. Takes it down, no problem.
And without another sword, chat mentioning that we may have a Master Sword Silverless Ganon today.
Yeah, certainly possible. I think it's not likely though. Like the more things you do in the game without finding a second sword, the greater that possibility that it's just in GT. Illa's finding out where the 10 bombs are, but he already has 10 bombs. Don't gotta do that. And here is Ace's front of escape play. So he'll get his ice right here. I'm really worried about Ace. I don't see how this is going to play out for him. Like, I cannot imagine him going back to Skullwoods for the next hour.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate.
All we can really hope for Ace is that he just doesn't find any other items. But we know he's going to find the bow at least.
Right, and yeah, he's just gonna be on a wild goose chase for that fire rod, unfortunately.
So Mikan, after killing Aga, went up to Catfish and mirrored to do the flipper check. So this is good for him. He's going to find his Bombos medallion here. But what he does after is anyone's guess. Probably crossing the river like Illis did. Yeah, Ace will eventually find the fire rod. That will happen. It's just he already got one item from there, and he doesn't want to go back without the fire rod. So he's likely going to do absolutely anything else that he can instead of going back to Skullwoods, which has the fire rod. Them French vanilla items, man, they get you every time.
For sure. And that was actually cool use of the fire rod, though. Sorry, the ice rod to freeze the guard, to throw it into the other guard.
It's not the fastest way to kill the guard, but it is the coolest.
Yeah, coolest because he used the ice rod.
Oh, I get it. That was unintentional.
Yeah,
Whoops.
a little bit.
Illa's still on this wild hunt for his mitts and hammer. The Radizon will take him to the hammer eventually, but yeah, he'll probably be bottlenecked enough that he might go into Eastern or Pot in Eastern, and he'll find the mitts there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what he does.
I mean, at some point, Pod starts looking really good, even if you don't have the bow, right?
Oh yeah, true that. As long as you don't get there without hammer and bow, you should be okay.
Yeah, he's not gonna beeline it, but I think after Hype Cave, like it's pretty likely he'll go over to Pod. And standard routing would be to check Sahasrara on your way into Pod, where he finds the mitts, and then probably nopes out of going into Pod. Well, there's Mikan's Canis Amaria. But so Mikan's doing all right so far. As long as he mirrors in Village of Outcasts to get his mitts, and as long as he goes into the front of Skullwards and gets his Fire Rod, he should be fine moving on.
And then makes his way to Super Bunny Cave to get the bow.
You're right, exactly.
Oh, Ill's getting his hammer.
And looks like he's going to be full clearance swamp. So this is... We know it's empty, so it's like, it's such a time loss. But this makes a lot of sense from his point of view. Like, without the mitts, this is probably where the mitts are, right? And since he already did Aga, like, he doesn't want to even fathom that the mitts are in the light world.
Yeah, definitely not.
That means you wasted like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so flute actually not even needed in this seed because we know where everything is to beat it, so we will not need the flute at all.
We haven't seen it yet at all. Like, it makes me think.
Probably in GT.
Illis is probably going to end up getting punished for his play to not kill Lambo when he could have. It's not like the largest time loss ever or anything, but it does feel bad to have to go back into Desert the slow way. Alright, so Mikan did get his Fire Rod, right? Yeah. He's going back to Mothula now. Okay, so good news for Mikan. All he has to do is get the mitts from the Kakariko village now.
Yeah, and then he'll be able to go up. So let's see. And he'll be in a good position to do it right after Skull Woods if he decides to do that.
Yeah,
that would probably be his best bet.
It would not be crazy for him to continue skipping it though, is the thing. Like it's not something you absolutely would want to do. It's like you put it off for this long. If it's anything, like you're screwed anyway, right? Why not just keep skipping it? Is the thought process
That's true
there.
too.
Hopefully he does check it though. So Madcap really didn't want to do South Dark World, so he didn't find his hammer, but instead we'll be able to full clear this crystal dungeon, so not a total loss for him. Mikan playing it real fast and loose there with the Wall Master. Making me nervous there. A showing off the Ice Rod strats here on Lammo. Unfortunately misses most of his shots. So you can see why Illis didn't really want to do this fight with the Ice Rod. Even though the Ice Rod is pretty powerful, it is not easy to land the hits.
No, you have to kind of fire it a couple of seconds before you think you do because it's slower than the Fire Rod.
Yeah, the projectile just like travels slower across the screen, so you have to lead the shot. Which is hard because you don't know what direction Lammo is going to move when he comes out of the thing.
Yeah.
But Ace gets it done regardless. gets his map as a reward. And I guess a crystal or something. Illis giving us Master Sword swipes for Argus here. Quite a bit faster than how Ace did it with his Fighter Sword. Or with his hammer, rather.
We're gonna see Ice Rod strats on.
Yeah, so if you do it just right, you can actually land all 4 Ice Rod shots in his first trip to the bottom, and one cycle the second phase. Illis didn't quite get that. Finishes with a 3 cycle, I think, which isn't bad.
If Mickhan's gonna get his Titan Smiths, now is gonna be his best opportunity. I know you've been saying about him skipping it all this time, but if he's gonna do it, this is his best opportunity because he's back in the village at least.
Maybe he'll do it if he doesn't find anything in the village, which he won't. But he already walked past the spot where you would mirror to do it.
Oh,
so
true.
I think his intention is to continue skipping it, but he might change his mind. The one good thing about this is that if you're going to last location something, the mitts are probably the best item in the last location. Because so much of the game is just inaccessible without them. And the only item that we need for go mode that is blocked by those mitts is the bow. And it's in the most dense area of the mitts lock check. So like once you find the mitts, you just go straight to the mountain and oh look, go mode.
Not a bad thing.
You can't actually go into the back of Thieves here. Nobody else did this, of those who had been here already. If he finds the second bow back here, that would actually be really fantastic. But he also has to get the mitts.
Yeah, he must find the mitts.
Like if there's a bow back here and he checks the well for his mitts, Mikan's gonna win this race. But both things have to happen. Okay, looks like Matcap is headed back to Village of Outcasts now, so this will eventually lead him to his hammer, which is go mode. For him. Yep. So Matcap is on pace to be our first runner in go mode.
Yeah.
Illis might beat him there, depending on how quickly he goes to the mountain and whether or not he goes straight to Pod and Eastern.
I really hope for A0's sake the Turtle Rock is Fire Rod locked.
Yeah, so when you come in here without the Fire Rod...
really bad time. Sorry.
Yeah. I know it's fine. When you come in here without the Fire Rod, there's one thing, or there are 2 outcomes for that first chest that you want to see, and anything else is horrible. Either give me the Fire Rod, or not a small key.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, he does find a small key in that first chest.
Yeah, exactly what you said. So we'll see how far he can actually go. Hopefully not terribly far, but we'll see how the seed wants to be. Okay, so he is locked out.
Okay, that's good news for Ace.
Yeah, that's very good news for A0.
Unfortunately, it's not going to save him because he still has to go back to Skullwitz.
Yes.
Oh, God. Does. When is he ever going to do that? Never.
It's just like, when is Mick Kang gonna get his gloves at this point?
Yeah. I mean, like Ace's position, for like 99% of runners, you last location fire rod. If you left that item behind, like you're gonna last location it now. All right, this is Mikan's last check in the village, and his last opportunity to make the decision to go to the chest he skipped. He is mirroring for Sick Kid. Maybe he'll continue on and check the well as well.
This is his best opportunity, and if he finds it, he's gonna have a few rage slashes, I'm sure.
Okay. But you didn't do this chest either?
Oh boy.
How much
And
did
there's
you
that
skip?
20 rupees you mentioned. Aye.
You're gonna check that one, but not the other one? Oh my god. Okay, so rip Mikan. He is going to last location his mitts.
Yeah.
I can say that with
Quite
much
unfortunate.
assurance. Like
Yeah,
there's no
can
way he goes
totally
back.
agree with you on that one. Well, A0 does take down Trolldorm. No problems there. So yeah, with A0 last locating the fire rod and Midcan last locating the gloves, neither one is good.
Yeah, I think between the two, I prefer Mikan's position because the mitts lock a lot more than that fire rod does. But neither one is desirable.
We're gonna get a spike cave check from A0.
Oh, and Illis is making the play to the mitts.
He will also have a few raid slashes, or not. He's going to pod. Hopefully he'll mirror and check Sahasrahla.
He's doing this specifically to go to pod, but with Sahasrahla on the way and Eastern as a backup if pod doesn't pay out. But Sahasrahla comes first, so he'll get his mitts right away. And hopefully, like you said, we'll just say, "Oh, mitts are nice," and leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So like he's checking
purple chest.
Yeah. So he's checking the hospital here. He doesn't expect to find anything. He hopes not to find anything, and instead figures out, oh wait, I could have skipped Aga. That's not good. And he leaves. He leaves. Okay, good. All right, very good news for Illis. Now go straight to Super Bunny Cave and you're in go mode.
And he's heading that way. He is definitely heading to Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, so all said and done, Illis is actually on the best pace for winning the race. Matcap not too far behind. He'll find his hammer here in Hype Cave and also be in go mode.
Oh no.
Unless you check first chest swamp before Hype Cave. Don't do that.
Oh, I hope not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be bad.
I mean, first chest swamp isn't crazy or anything. It's just not before Hype Cave.
No. I agree with you on that one. All right, so A0 heading into pod.
All right, who wins? Who's gonna get it first? Matcap, bro. And Matcap is our first runner in go mode at 56
minutes and 23 seconds. He enters go mode, and Illis is about to enter go mode as well at 56 minutes and 32 seconds.
Although Illis does have the crystal advantage right now. Matcap will save some time getting to go mode swamp.
Right, exactly. He won't have to check left side.
So it's really just a testament to like Illis's efficient route. Illis's route was very efficient, even though he did kill Aga unnecessarily. He's still on pace to win the race.
Does he not realize that he's in go mode? Or is he looking for another sword?
He's probably just looking for a sword. but maybe he doesn't know. Oh, he hadn't checked the TR medallion yet. Okay, now he knows he's in go mode, right? I mean, Hookshot Cave's pretty quick. Like, if you're on Master Sword Sophilus, you should probably check Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, true that. I guess I would check it after I check Turtle Rock, but
Yeah, I'd probably do the same. Honestly, I probably would have left, like, as soon as I got the bow. Or as soon as I realized I was in Gomo, just left and done this on the back end of everything. Oh, no, because it's fast Ganon!
yeah, no need to come back up the
Yeah,
mountain.
no, yeah, you gotta do Turtle Rock now, then.
Otherwise, it's a third trip up the mountain. Oh, I love fast Ganon, and especially when you don't need to go into GT. It's just such a nice feeling.
So very, very unfortunate for Mikan, but he's going to full clear Swamp here. Maybe skip left side, but still.
I would guess probably not, especially
Yeah, I
looking
don't
for the
think he will.
mitts.
Yeah, he doesn't have very much game left. It would make a lot of sense for him to try and skip left side. Even if he does skip left side, he's probably coming back to it before he goes to Kakariko.
Yeah, he missed his chances to do anything in Kakariko at this point, so we'll have to see what he decides to do. But eventually, he will need to go to Kakariko, and then he will never forget that location again. Fire Rod was in Skull Woods.
Yep, French Vanilla Fire Rod just in the front of Skullwoods. Ace, unfortunately, likely to last location that Fire Rod because he did go to front of Skullwoods, but upon finding the first item in the first chest, said that's enough for me and left, which was a perfectly reasonable play with how much game he had open to him. This is just the exact worst thing that could have happened. The other item being the Fire Rod. You can't actually go in left side first for his swamp dive. He's not messing around.
Yeah, it's just faster to check the left side wall before going all the way to the back, if you're going to check it at all. Oh, there's Tempered Sword.
Nice pickup there for Ace.
Well, that'll make Ganon much easier.
Yeah, it cuts the time of phase 4 by half, but also makes phase 2 way less dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mikan continuing his full clear here. Unfortunately, not going to find anything.
That is just quite unfortunate for him.
Yeah, and Ace also on this Fire Rod hunt, he's going to end up full clearing Pod, which Illis and Matt Cap will both get to go mode. He's having a little trouble here with not falling off the bridge. I'm not sure what's happening.
That is really weird.
Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he kept falling. Like, it's common to like try and adjust to the left on the bridge when you're like going for a hammer jump, so that you have more room to work with. But he didn't even do the hammer jump, so I don't know why he was moving to the left at all.
Well, there's the worthless ether medallion.
Did Illis go back for Lambo at some point?
It's on his tracker, so
He
he
did,
must
right?
have.
Yeah, he must have. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did it after Hype Cave. Unfortunate the Tempered Sword's on Helmosaur. Because for routing efficiency, it would be fastest for Illis to do Ice before Pod. But, like, Ice is a dungeon you'd rather have the Tempered Sword in.
Yeah, or even having Tempered Sword in Turtle Rock would be better, probably, too.
Yeah. So Macap's actually going to save some time here by getting the Tempered Sword early. Even though, like, routing-wise, it would be faster for him to do Pod last.
And Illis doesn't take the safety door. We'll have to see if he... I don't know if he has anything in the bottles.
Well, Illis is, like, way better than I am, and I never take the safety door, so I can totally relate.
Got it.
I mean, once you put in enough practice, like, even the hammer version of this fight's not super dangerous. And it looks like Illis did have a blue potion as backup anyway. It's just one of those things, right? All you have to do to kill this boss 100% of the time is not screw up.
That is definitely the case.
Alright, Illis is now screwed up a little bit. He's not screwed, though. He's fine. Tactical map check.
Make sure he got all the rooms.
Maycan's getting desperate. He's going to Spike Cave now. I think all he has left after this is the Eastern Pod area and that one chest he skipped in Kakariko.
Yeah, so we'll see what he does first.
I mean, what would you do? Let's see. There's 1,500,000 items in the Eastern Pod area, or that one chest I skipped.
I go with what you said earlier. Is he's been skipping everything the whole time. He's not going back.
There's no way he goes to Kakariko next. Yep, there he goes, headed into Eastern Pod area. Very unfortunate for me.
Well, it makes the most sense logically. There's a lot more checks here.
Yeah, and he can get rewarded too. Like maybe there's
exactly
a bow in Eastern, or did we already see Eastern? We might have already seen Eastern.
Well, A0 is doing Eastern now, and we haven't really seen anything too miraculous.
If I'm
the
right,
only thing that we've seen is the Tempered Sword that was worth speaking of.
I think Mikan was the one who did the early Eastern dive.
I believe so.
Yeah, definitely a good point, Jinxie Girl. He may not even know that the chest is there. He might have forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's probably where he is at this point. He probably has no idea that he even forgot it. It was so long ago, that hour ago when he was in Kakariko. So yeah, he's not even thinking about it anymore, probably. And it's really unfortunate that it's the one item he needs.
Ace unfortunately getting bumped by the Armos. It's gonna have to do this slower fight. But plenty of arrows, gets it done, and gets a pendant for his reward. I think it was missed on the tracker, but Ace has full cleared Swamp Palace. I just noticed that.
Yeah, sometimes those trackers just don't.
Yeah, it just eats
like anything.
But
and such a convenient big key too in pod.
Yeah, it's a nice go mode pod. All right, so just to recap on what's going on here, Illis and Matcap are both in go mode. Illis needs to finish up Pod and Ice. Matcap just finishing up Pod now, needs to go to Ice and Turtle Rock. Mikan has unfortunately orphaned his Titan's Mitts in Kakariko, so will likely be last location of that. Meanwhile, Ace Zero has orphaned his Fire Rod in the front of Skull Woods, and will likely be last locationing of that.
Yeah, exactly. And we can pretty much safely say that the flute is probably in GT now, because we have seen pretty much everything else.
I think we have seen everything except for Ice Palace.
Yeah. So, oh right, Ice Palace.
So Ace, it's potentially like Ace might go to Ice. It looks like he is decided to go to Skull Woods though. This is great news.
Well, I think he doesn't have anything else he can do, can he?
I'm surprised that he's doing this instead of going to Ice Palace.
He can.
Honestly,
oh yeah, he can get into Ice Palace.
Like, why wouldn't you go to Ice Palace?
Yeah, you would go to Ice first. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know. Ace is neurotic, I guess. he can't stop thinking about it. That one item, it could have been in the front. What if it's the Fire Rod? Well, it's totally going to be the Fire Rod. So you get rewarded today, Ace Zero, by coming back. But given his current position, it would have made a lot more sense for him to go to Ice Palace. Just wrong absolutely. For this seed.
I lost track. I thought he didn't have his Titan Smiths, but Mitcon did, and I'm like, wait, who doesn't have one? Yeah, so we're good now. Azero will get his Fire Rod.
Well, we say that, but he's mirroring. What are you doing, Ace?
Yeah, he skipped the mitts.
I mean, he's doing the.
It was in the check, well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the back of the well.
He's checking pad.
Well, hopefully he continues back to the front of Skull Woods.
I would hope so.
I had to double check that one.
Now, Mitcan, where are you going next?
Oh, right. Illis killed Aga. Sorry. My brain just caught up. I was saying before how it made sense for Illis to go to Ice Palace before Pod, because walking to the pyramid from Pod is faster. But because he killed Aga and has the mirror, he can just save and quit from the Dark World, so it ends up being the same.
Even faster, yep.
So it makes more sense to go Pod in that situation, because more equipment won't help in Pod, really, but it will help in Ice.
So the one good thing about actually killing Aga then in this seed, I suppose.
Yeah, you save like a good 40 seconds or something on the walk to the pyramid.
Yep, exactly.
Totally worth the 5-minute dip. All right, Ace did get his Fire Rod. He is now in go mode, but he's got to play a little bit of catch up here. 3 more dungeons to finish off.
And he must not realize he's in go mode. Or does he not have a key? Oh, he does have a key.
Yeah, his routing ended up not being ideal here. And it's a big key. Darn it. He's going to have to go back to the front to get the small key.
Oh.
It's really easy to forget about that when you find the Fire Rod. You're like, oh, look, go mode, Fire Rod, I can go kill Mothula. And you just mirror without thinking.
Oh, poor Mitcan. He has to figure out Kakariko.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of foobar from the beginning, right? Like as soon as he skipped it the very first time, he wasn't gonna do super well in this race.
Yeah,
But
unfortunate.
so I mean, it makes sense for him to continue skipping it if he does even remember it.
That is very unfortunate because there's no other really things he can do at this point. He can't get the bow. So we'll see what he does. And Illis about to kill his final boss and then go to Ganon and finish off the seed.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fast time considering that he killed Aga.
Yeah, exactly. Great time with being able to kill Aga too.
He killed Aga and full cleared Swamp.
And he's gonna go to kill the big pig now.
Mikan playing the look at your menu game. Yeah, he forgot. He doesn't know about it. Oh no. And Ill is just saving and quitting in the Dark World, puts him right on that pyramid. Hello, Ganon.
Poor Mikan. You never want to see this happen to anybody.
Is the sound and audio desynced for everybody, or is this just me?
I think it's been desynced for a little bit.
Okay, we just now noticed it.
But I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be, so I just kind of didn't say anything.
I'm sure it's Illis's fault and not fixable.
Yeah, we'll just go with Illis's fault. That's a good idea.
I mean, it's probably on like his end, so we can't do anything about it. Not that it's his fault.
No, it's not, yeah, definitely not. All right, so with Silverless Ganon, not an entirely hard fight in any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, Silverless is one of those texts where it feels, oh my god, this is impossible, until you learn it, and then it's like, oh, this is actually super duper easy. Just takes a little bit of practice and that just initial burst of drive to make the decision to learn it.
And I think getting Torchlight, especially when you're doing Master Sword Silverless, is kind of imperative.
I sure hope he has a magic refill, because he doesn't have enough fire rod shots to finish this.
Does he have enough lamp shots to finish it?
Oh yeah, he's plenty with the lamp. But if he misses like one triple, like that one.
Yeah, that could be.
He must have a magic refill. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
All's good.
We heard him drink the potion before he showed up on screen. Oh, poor Mikan. Going after the 20 rupees on Lumberjack. Oh, and Matcap unfortunately taking a death here on Trinix. Oh, he has a fairy. We're good. We're good.
All right, and down goes Ganon for Ilias. He will finish first on a restream. Get your GGs ready in chat. He just has to cross that little bridge, and he'll be good to go.
GG.
Yeah, GG's. So he finishes not only first on a restream, but first overall of the 20 entrants with official time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 44 seconds. And Mikan does remember that
He figured it out.
He figured it out. Wait, but he bombed the wall.
Wait. What? He bombed the wall?
He bombed the wall. Okay.
What?
I'm
I
confused.
thought he didn't have bombs. This whole time he had bombs, he just forgot to actually walk in. Big Can, please.
Oy vey.
How embarrassing. It's a good thing he didn't do this in front of like a large audience or anything. Man, that would be the worst if you forgot to walk into the back of the well or the back of Blindside Out with 300 people watching you.
Yeah, that would be terrible. But at least now he can get his bow and
Yeah, and he's actually going straight towards the bow here. He'll find it really quickly.
exactly.
Maybe he does Turtle Rock first, but he'll get.
He might as well. He's up here.
Yeah.
I would do Turtle. At this point, I think I would Gomo Turtle Rock, which isn't really very Go-modable. Head down, do Pod, Ice Palace, and then save and quit like Illis did.
Speaking of Illis, we are now joined in the commentator's booth by Illis. Illis, hi. Hi, Illis.
GG's.
Hi, GG.
What a seed! So you actually ended up with a really fantastic time considering what happened. You full cleared Aga, that was not needed. You full cleared Swamp, which was also not needed, but you still finished like 116. So fast gain, it's pretty awesome, right?
Definitely. I think in retrospect, I think doing Aga worked out in my favor. Because when you do Aga, you don't skip like Graveyard Ledge, don't skip checking Skullwoods, and
Right, yeah.
that's where some of the few nasty items were. I could also imagine that some people had problems with finding the Ice Rod. So it all worked out in my favor actually, and I'm not sad at all. Like the time I lost in Agatowa, I saved by not checking Eastern Palace and Port. So yeah, I'm happy with how
definitely.
it worked out. Luck was on my side in this one, definitely.
So like considering the routes, MatCap on our restream actually had probably the better route compared to you, but your execution just carries you so much farther. Like he got to go mode Swamp, and when he got to the Dark World with the mitts, he went into Skullwoods right away and also found that Fire Rod. But unfortunately, A0, he went into front of Skullwoods as well right away as soon as he got to the Dark World. But when he found the first item in the front, he said that's enough and left Skullwoods.
Ouch.
And Mikan, our 4-3 strain runner, we're not exactly sure what happened, but he last location the Titan's mitts in Kakariko. Not the one in Sahastral set, but the one in Kakariko.
Probably just memeing it up a bit.
He bombed the wall in Blind's hideout because that's where
Never
the
walked
mitts
through
were
the
in the
wall.
back.
Oh,
But he never actually walked in there to get the chest that he bombed access to.
Oh, that's rough.
Poor
Yeah, I
Mikan.
wondered. I wondered where Mikan was because I know he's like an exceptionally good runner.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's what happened to him.
Yeah, everybody's execution has been pretty on point today. Ace and Mikan as well as yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Like, if you play this game for like 2 years, I suppose you get a fair semblance of good execution.
I don't know. I've been playing 2 years. You still blow me out of the water.
Yeah, don't put yourself down. You've made it quite far, right? In the main turn.
Yeah, you are for sure. So there was one thing I wanted to ask you about, so like, because I try and learn from people that I know are better than me. Can you explain the decision to not kill Lambo when you were there? Because I thought that was really questionable because Meyer was a pendant, but maybe you didn't have that information.
Yeah, I didn't have that information. I figured I would probably find the flute sooner or later, so I saved it for later. And then later I did the Dark One map check and saw that oh, Misery Maya is a pendant. So when I checked Bombos tablet, I read it basically because I figured we probably wouldn't find the flute at that point. But yeah, it was basically a gamble on Misery Maya being a crystal.
For sure.
And it didn't pay off, but it also didn't cost that much time in the end because I could just go there from Bombos tablet, think it cost me like 30
Yeah.
seconds, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge deal. I just remember when you did it, and I'm like, I know we get to see the Ice Rod fight, and then Illis just saves and quits, and I'm like, what?
I was confused
Yeah.
about that myself, actually.
I possibly wanted some better weapons as well. Like, you know, you've checked everything in Desert Palace, and then you come back later with the flute, get faster access to
Yeah.
the back of Desert.
You don't like the Ice Rod
Tempered
fight?
sword. I kind of like the Ice Rod fight actually. Though my Ice Rod Argus was not the best in this case, but usually like my Ice Rod strats work out. It's of course a bit tricky. Sometimes it just fails due to land RNG, but it's I like the Ice Rod as a weapon actually. If you get used to it, it's just as good as the Fire Rod.
Actually, I find for phase 2 Argus, trying to get those 4 hits in with the rod, I find the Ice Rod so much easier than the Fire Rod for that. But for land mode, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, that's true. My preferred weapon for Argus is the Ice Rod as well, but I haven't done it in a while, so I screwed it up this time.
I mean, other than that, this is a pretty straightforward seed. Honestly, it was by all qualifications, this was a jet seed. Although your route didn't really exemplify that. If you're just a little bit less willing to do the Aga play, this was a jet seed.
I was like 25 minutes in the light world already. Just release me into the dark world, right? And I plan to eventually check eastern area when I go to Port, but when I got to dark world, I didn't want to go to Port. So it took a while.
No, I totally understand the Aga gamble, because if you go to Sahasrar's Hut, right, and it's not Sahasrar's Hut, now you're doing Pendant Eastern when it's probably just an Aga seed. It just feels really bad.
Also, if it had been tournament play, I would have done like a boring play, check eastern area and stuff. But in dailies, you can, be a bit more daring with your decisions. Yeah. So I went for that, and unfortunately, I didn't get rewarded in that sense. But as I said before, like the Aga play it at least led me to the Cane and to the Fire Rod kinda.
You wouldn't have done front of Skullwoods if you had mid-circled access?
I would have done front of Skullwoods, but I don't think I would have done Graveyard Ledge. So I think if I had not done Aga in this one, I would have been slower, for sure.
For the Canis Maria.
Yes, I hate Graveyard Ledge so much. Like in the daily 2 days ago, I got absolutely screwed by it.
Oh no.
Because the hammer was inside. And I went for.
It was even a little bit.
I went for pods, and I went for a hammerless ice palace at that time. So it's fairly awkward to check, and I hate checking it. But if you're doing Aga, like you just go for it because it's on the way, right? So I'm absolutely sure I would have been slower without the Aga play.
Well, definitely worked out today. What did you place? I didn't see the final list.
You got first.
Really?
Overall.
Really,
Yes.
Illis? You did
Yeah.
Aga unnecessarily and full cleared Swamp unnecessarily, and you still get first place? You're the worst. Gosh.
Thank you.
Man, I wish I could just waste 6 minutes in this seed and still get first place.
Well, as I said before, I saved that time by not.
Yeah, for sure.
Not doing pod. So I think it evened itself out in the end.
Alright, so Matt Cat now finishes off Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for Matt Cat.
GG.
So he finishes second overall on our restream, and looks like 7th overall. Get his official time here. But in 6th place was Drake Carries at 125.18. South 15 at 124.59. Hydropower 78, 122.35. Humberg 121.15. And Etium with a 119.38. And I am not sure of Matt Cap, so I'm going to wait till his time comes up on here. So he gets an official 126.36. A0 starts his Ganon fight.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, Madcap actually ended up having the best route through the game. It's just clearly he's not as experienced as you are, Ellis. So he lost some time just from being a little slower in various rooms.
I mean, it comes
The
with
makings,
time and with
the makings
experience,
are there,
right?
though.
Like with enough practice, I think anyone can do as well as I do right now. Like I sucked too when I started this, so.
Oh yeah, this isn't like nobody starts being good at this game. You're not just
Definitely.
born hovering TR or something, right? Like anybody you see play this game who is looks like they're really really good, it's because they put in thousands of hours.
It's been fun though. I'm still having fun after all this time with Rando. So, like, of course, sometimes you just get absolutely screwed, like in some races, but that just happens. You gotta get over it, and then you can
Yeah.
have fun seats that are actually in your favor, like this one for me, for example.
Alright, so Mikan finally enters go mode, finding that bow.
Yeah, just a couple dungeons left for Maycan. Unfortunately, they are pretty quick. It was a very fast go mode pod, and Ice, of course, is always fast to go home.
And down goes Ganon for A0. Get your GGs in chat for Ace Zero.
GG Ace.
So while we're waiting for Mikan to finish, don't forget to give all of our runners a follow. They have done an awesome job putting on entertainment for us this afternoon. And of course, our trackers as well.
Oh, do we not have audio from Maycan? Feels bad, man. Welcome, Madcap, to the voice chat, though. How you doing? A0
GG's
here as well.
Madcap, GG's A0.
Hello, thanks guys. GG's to all the runners. How are you doing?
We're doing fantastic. So, Madcap, you actually had the best route through this game.
Oh,
Your
thanks.
route was considerably better than what Illis ended up doing, but Illis is just too good at the game, apparently.
Yeah, I guess
Where
that's.
he can just do AGA and it's fine.
Yeah, of course. That's what I don't like that much, to be honest, about Fast Fridays, since I know there's really good people here that are gonna be much better than me with boots in the start. But I was happy with my routing, as you said. I did think that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, there were a few like trouble spots, like items that were in locations that could very easily be skipped. The Canis Maria and Graveyard Ledge, everybody found that one. The Fire Run in Skullwoods, unfortunately, Ace had left behind. I totally understand why you did it, though, Ace. Like, I think that was a very reasonable play, but unfortunately, kind of got you this time.
Yeah. GG's, everybody. Thanks for having me in the interview. Yeah, that's I really like that play too, especially when it's like it's fire locked and the item could very well be in the back. Instead of running around just grabbing small keys, grabbing map and compass. Since the first chest was an item, I figured super low chance it's anything else important I can get, and of course,
it's the one thing that you're
Yeah.
never coming back for. You did end up coming back there before Ice Palace, though. Is that just like because of a disdain for Ice Palace? Because I
No.
feel like given that situation, like going to Ice Palace made a lot more sense than going back to Skullwoods.
No, it was because so I normally do Uncle first, like 99% of open seeds. I go to Uncle immediately. But I thought I'd try something different this time, so I didn't get the book early. It ended up getting me the shovel later, and I forgot to check Sit Kid when I was nearby before, so that was kind of like on my mind. So like, okay, I can check the shovel, check Sit Kid, check Pedestal now with the book, get all that cleaned up, and I might as well, if I'm doing all that, go back into Skull Woods. And sure enough, Skull Woods had it.
Yeah, so I mean that works out then, because I mean obviously you save a bunch of time by not having to full clear Ice Palace. Was really worried because our fourth restream runner who's still playing is Vcan, and his last location item was the mitts, and the mitts locked him out of a lot more of the game than the fire rod locked you out. But you did make that play to go back to Ice Palace, or to go back to Skullwoods way quicker than we were expecting.
Yeah, can you remind me where the mitts were again? I don't even remember finding those.
So the first glove everybody found was in Kakariko, except for Mikan, who found his first glove in Hospitalist Hut. Mikan somehow, some way, bombed the back of Blind's hideout, but didn't actually go into it to find the gloves in there. And he just straight up forgot that he left the chest behind. So his last location mitts were in Kakariko Village.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
That's really.
That sounds terrible.
It's funny. It's really, 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 really funny, but it's unfortunate.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Mika.
the worst nightmare on a screen random, I think. Something like that.
Everybody's done something like that before, for sure. And I'm sure Mikan's done it before as well.
I actually got the gloves there first as well. In Saha. I went straight to Saha, then I went to the mountain, and then midway through the Paradox, it's when I realized I actually needed bombs to Paradox, so I had to leave there, which was pretty terrible, to be honest.
Yeah, it ended up being like a little bit of time lost.
Oh yeah, I lost time around the Hera area because I hoped to find a big key in the basement, and that I collect my hookshot afterwards and continue there to Easter Fountain. And instead there was the small key, so I decided to leave Hera and go for the hookshot and go back in Hera pots. That was pretty stupid.
Probably could have just done Tower Room at that point.
I wanted to practice some more Hera pots. It's not always easy.
Yeah,
that was the
takes me
other
in a
thing I
lot of
wanted to
menus.
It seemed really weird that you went to Hera when you did Ace. I can't remember exactly what happened. You hadn't done.
I went up to Death Mountain super early, just because the rupees and bombs, the way that worked out in the early game, kind of made me feel like I was taking forever to clear Kakariko, and I didn't want to have to go to Pendant Eastern area, so I figured I'd go up the mountain. And with Hookshot there, I figured I'd at least go in and check Hera real quick. All the checks in there are super quick except for Tile Room. And I figured worst case scenario, there's an item on the boss and I'll come back later. But with Herapod, it's pretty quick. Luckily, I got the second item. Didn't even have to worry about getting the big key ever.
Yeah, the Herapot worked out immensely for you there. Not having to worry about having to come back to Hera at some other point. It seemed weird that you went up to Hera without a weapon before even doing like Back of Escape, which, as it turns out, did have a weapon. Would have made things nicer. I mean, it wasn't guaranteed to have a weapon or anything, but like Back of Escape is just so convenient to do at any time.
Yeah, I've been making that mistake a lot. I did that the other day. I was doing like a SMZ 3 seed, and I just completely forgot Back of Escape forever. And I thought I should have done it earlier here, but I don't know, just because I was already in like the northern part of Kakariko when I had Death Mountain access, I figured instead of the save and quit or running all the way to Back and Escape and then save and quit, I could just go up the mountain now and check a few things, get the old man rescued. But I was definitely thinking about that, and then it didn't really hurt me, I guess, but it would have been nice to get to clear out Hera immediately on the first trip. I made some very strange plays, I think. This season.
Well, I mean, you didn't kill Aga, and half of our restream runners killed Aga, so.
Oh, really? I didn't even consider it.
Yeah, Illis really didn't want to go over to the eastern area, so he just went after Aga. And Mikan, of course, last location is Nitz, so he didn't have
Yeah.
Darkhold access without it.
As I said before, I was like 25 minutes in Lightwood already. That was way too much.
Just give me to the Dark World. No, it made sense for you to do Aga, honestly. I probably would have made the same call if I had routed the exact same way. Just because like you already have gloves and hookshot, so like it's not like you're killing Aga just to check the pyramid. Like you have access to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I had more to say about your route though, Madcap, but it was just the right route. You did all the right things. So way to go.
Yeah, I guess the down turned out pretty well. Maybe a little bit of time lost over in Sora and over there. Don't think there was anything there.
I felt like everything you did was pretty reasonable. Like it just turned out to be like the difference in execution between like you and Illis, honestly. But like you got to go mode Swamp, which nobody else did. You got to skip Aga, which only Ace did.
Yeah, totally. I didn't even realize I was in go mode with the hammer, to be honest, until I got it.
Yeah, hammer go mode is very nice.
Very rare too.
Totally. Yeah, that was nice. And on a mistake by my part, I did intend to go to pods after checking like Ice Sword Cave and everything, but I didn't realize I didn't get back to the portal since that was on top of the island. That kind of helped me. Yeah, that kind of helped me in the end since I went back to Hype Cave. I didn't really think at all it would be in Hype Cave. It has never happened to me since it seems like the most obvious and easy thing. I mean, of course, never happens.
No, hammer and Hype Cave.
Hype Cave has just had like $20.
Yeah.
Totally.
Hammer and Hype Cave is like probably one of, if not, probably not the worst, but one of the worst places for the hammer to be. It's so awkward to get there, and you have to skip so many hammer lock locations just to walk there.
Yeah, luckily Thieves Town was a pendant though, and had 3 items in the front. That made me feel a lot better about making my way around towards Hype Cave early.
Mikan does take down Ganon, and he finishes up his seed.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat for Mikan. And even better for finishing on a seed where you're really where you bombed the wall, didn't walk through it, and that's where your Titans mitts were. So
at least the flute was in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, flute was either in Ganon's tower or Ice Palace.
Yeah, I think we did say everything else. You're right.
We only saw one item in Ice Palace, so that was on Cold Stare. That was 10 arrows. So, we did. I don't know if we saw Mimic Cave, so it could be in there too.
Oh, we saw Mimic Cave.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Because Mikan full cleared TR before.
Oh yes, right.
I think what was kind of interesting for me was finding boots, quote unquote, on a boot slap locations. I didn't know that.
And we're joined by Mikan.
They're not the Bootsillas.
They're not the boots.
What was that? Yeah.
It's just a random blank chest.
Yeah, I still didn't know that could happen either.
Yeah, so the way it works is the boots are removed from the item pool and they're replaced with a nothing item, and then the items are placed. So like when it's placed, it's a nothing item, not the boots. But yeah. Anyway, Mikan, hello, how you doing? I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm so happy I found the thing.
You did find the thing.
What we have to know is why did you bomb the wall and not go get the chest?
I'm gonna blame me having the boots, and I wanted to run out of the room.
So we knew that you skipped it, and we knew it was the bomb lock location. And for the last hour and a half, we've been saying like, "Oh, Mikan didn't have bombs when he was in Kakariko."
Oh, I definitely had bombs.
Did.
I specifically went down to buy bombs so I could bomb that wall and go in.
You were the only one to do the uncle start, so you were the only one with rupees to buy bombs when you got there.
Nice.
But there's so much going on at the start of the seed, everybody going in different directions. I missed you actually buying the bombs. So when we found out that you skipped the mitts there, I just thought you didn't buy the bombs and we're just gambling on it being nothing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. What happened was I think I'm just not used to having boots at the start. This is like my first boot start seed I've done, and I just really wanted to run out of the room because I never get to, and I just completely forgot it. No. Dude, this would have been really easy if I got those, because I would have gotten that bow really quick, and I would have found everything else really fast. But that's okay.
Yeah, you probably would have ended up with a very similar route to Matt Cap, who also got the bow really quick, and then found the fire rod and the Cane of Samaria like right away in the Dark World, and then had a hammer go mode. But you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it's just that one chest that you skip for whatever reason.
I've definitely skipped chests before, but I don't think I've skipped that specific one. So, great.
I've skipped it before, but it's always been on purpose.
I have definitely skipped it before, and it was not on purpose. And it burned me at some point. I remember, I think it was the fire rods, and there was the flute or Morphula, and it led to basically everything, and I was stuck in there. And people finished at like 115 with GT and everything, and I was totally perplexed at that point. that just happens, right? You forget a chest, and then oof.
Yeah, when you see somebody finish that fast, you just start abandoning all like normal routing, and you just go back to locations that you knew people could have done on the way, because that was probably the answer. But if you don't know that you skipped the item, like there's no way to go back to it.
Dude, I went back to Thieves Town. I was ready to go in there for that big chest, because the hammer didn't really unlock anything for me, because I don't have the mitts. So I found the hammer, and I was like, oh, we'll just go to Swamp. Surely there's something there. The only things I had were like Spike Cave, which I really wanted to go to because of, you know, having just found the hammer. And then when Pod didn't come up with anything, I was really scared about Thieves Town Big Chest. But then I guess I paused right when going in. I was like, the map's in there. Ah, crap. What did I forget? Then I went down to Ice Rod Cave because I didn't have bombs for that, because I ended up placing in my mini Moldorm cave, like I had one bomb or two bombs left, and I threw it to the left. And that last mini Moldorm had like, I'm sure, a pixel of explosion or a frame of explosion left, and he ran into it. So I placed another bomb that I ended up not needing to, and I didn't. So that's why I decided just to go to Desert Palace instead. I don't know. It was weird. I was definitely not planning on going to Desert.
At the end of the day, like, Ganon's dead, Hyrule is saved, we got it done.
Yeah, till the next time. Then he tries to ruin things in the universe.
Well, I think we're just about ready to wrap it up if anybody else has anything to add before we do so.
Graveyard
really,
Ledge
just-
sucks.
Just want to say thanks, Koi and Nitro, for the commentary. Thanks for the trackers. Thanks everybody for watching. It's fun being on Restream.
I think you should have picked Edium to get on the restream instead of me. I should have picked heads on the coin flip, dude.
I say we should have replaced Illis with Edium, because then I wouldn't feel bad. I watched Illis. Illis killed Aga and full cleared Swamp and got first place. It's ridiculous.
Yo, nice. Why did you kill that guy?
It's ridiculous.
I want the Dark World Axis, okay?
That's one way of doing it, yeah.
That's what being good at the game does for you, for sure.
Apparently. You should try that sometime.
Some of us are still working on it, for sure.
I mean, the overworld was pretty stacked, I feel, so it didn't... Whenever I did Aga and did the whole loop around the Dark World, I had, like, everything except the mids, I guess.
Yeah, the other glove was back up to the hospital, and it was just didn't want to go over there, which I totally respect.
Oh, I see.
I hate going to the Eastern area in the early game. If you want me to go to Eastern, give me a bow. That's all I'm saying.
But it was Pendant Eastern. Pendant Eastern.
Yeah,
makes
I
it safe.
sometimes do
I
if
wouldn't
it's
go there with a
pen-
bow either.
I sometimes do if it's Pendant Eastern, but I figured I'd just spend way too much time in the Light World. So, and I possibly wanted to check it with the mirror later when I go to Port. But I didn't want to go to Port without the bow. So there's that. In the end, it took me some time.
Just go to Sahai at the start with boots.
Yeah,
I've
there you go.
Works out
done
pretty
that
nice.
Yeah,
open
that's the real
a few
guy.
times, but I wanted to change it up a bit
You don't
this
even-
time.
You don't even need bombs to open it in this mode.
That's my standard route for boot start, is to go straight to Sahasrara.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and
I love that. I love that.
The last sword, of course, was really nice in Helmet's and just stop checking all the chests and everything.
Yeah.
I might have struggled a bit in Ganon, I'm not sure.
Nah, you had 2 bottles. You were fine.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but it's just nice to have it.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Chat, remember, follow these guys. They're all awesome. Illis, A0, Matcap, and Nikan. Exclamation point R to see their stream links, as well as myself and my co-commentator, Koi, and Nitro6003. Thanks so much for coming with me. It was a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
And our trackers, Dark Diplomat and Jinxie Girl, they did a fantastic job. Even though the tracker is mean to them, but they powered through. We got it done.
Trackers are always mean to them. I think we just need to redo the tracking system altogether somehow. I don't know how. We need to just redo it.
It's hard
I wish the
confusing.
tracker would track boots for me so I would get them more often.
That's going to be it for us right now. There is another daily race tonight. I don't know if that's getting restreamed though, because I believe there is a tournament race tonight between somebody and somebody else. I am blanking.
Jet and
Jet-
Nindan.
According to the daily schedule, it will not be restreamed this
will not be a
evening.
daily?
So the next
Okay.
one will be Sunday.
Okay, so the daily will still happen. It won't be restreamed though, but you guys can still stay tuned to Speed Gaming to check out that awesome tournament race between Jet and who was it?
Nindan.
Nimban and Jet. That's going to be a fantastic race. I believe it is their game 1. Very exciting. Don't miss it, you guys. Until next time, I've been Koi, and I'll leave it the final words to my co-commentator Nitro.
And I'm Nitro6003. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody, and see you on the other side.